The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the UNHCR, estimated that last year 89.3 million people were under its or a related mandate. Every single person has lost their home, their job, their friends, their family. They've run from war, poverty, famine and persecution. 89.3 million is hard to visualise. Let me help. If they all stood in a queue, one behind another, it would go from here at York St John's University to Sydney, Australia, over 10,000 miles away. That's a shock, isn't it? The real shock is that it would also continue back to York, and that's still not the end. The last person, probably from Sudan, would join somewhere near Bangkok, 26,000 miles of people all desperately needing help. And we're not done. 6,000 miles of Ukrainians have been displaced since March 2022. As a support worker with Refugee Action, I've met people from every profession: doctors, midwives, engineers. I have met world-leading physicists and women who have never had the privilege of education. I've met people from many nations with many languages. I've met people without shoes, people holding their portable wealth, desperate for a friend, to feel safe, and for someone to understand. On the day of the King's coronation, nearly 400 men, women and children arrived via dinghy on the Kent coast. Over 1,200 landed in Greece, over 1,000 in Italy. This is the largest and most significant humanitarian crisis this planet has ever seen. It's the tragedy of our age. It is suffering beyond comprehension, and it has no end, no respite, no relief. The cost is staggering. The UK spent over £750 million last year just on translation services, and another 15 million in English language classes, all for less than 0.5% of those affected by this tragedy. A declaration of human rights: all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Those that were not born here were not born into our equality. They are not equal under the arc lamps, the unloading ramps, the barbed wire fences, the Alsatians, the black uniform security, and to the cries of "send them back." We are all not born equal. Equality through communication, communication through equality. This is why Global Anthem was created. Global Anthem is an alternative and augmentative communication system that offers a humanitarian and empathic solution for people who have been displaced and the frontline workers who support them, as well as those wishing to learn a new way to communicate. Its system of simplified hand gestures alleviates the more acute and immediate social, health and well-being issues associated with displacement. Individuals are given the ability to communicate their feelings, circumstances and basic needs effectively, and for support workers to understand this without barriers. One of the first gestures taught is friend. Global Anthem consists of 36 easy-to-use flashcards in a self-contained pack. The cards demonstrate natural gestures with a non-specific gender, age and culture illustration. In addition, the target word is printed in English on the front with space for it to be written in any language. On the reverse is the 5 most common languages used by mandated persons and support agencies. A QR code linked to a video on the Global Anthem website is for when technology is available. The cards are colour-coded to green, first words to teach, blue, second, and orange, third, and these represent the journey from home across oceans to a global anthem. Included are student learning sheets. These are designed to be photocopied or hand traced. A name badge and a simple lanyard, as well as a non-linguistic instruction sheet and a first aid trauma sheet. The logo and name badge is designed to be recognised much like a national flag or bat signal, and service users would know they can communicate using the gestures anywhere this is recognised. The packs are zero technology and inspired by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They use no plastics and are responsibly produced. The dots signify Pack 1 and further packs have been developed. For example, in partnership with the Kiev National University of Culture and Arts, who tasked me to create a pack in response to the Ukrainian refugee crisis. By securing corporate and governmental sponsors, crowdfunding, and along with grant and retail sales, will allow the packs to be distributed nationally and internationally to frontline support workers free of charge. Corporate sponsors would be attracted by branding and the offer to train the sponsors' staff in the Global Anthem system, enabling service users to recognise a friendly and safe place where they can be understood. The finished packs have a production cost of £4.50 and a retail value of £15 based on 1,000 units. As the user base expands, the production costs reduce significantly. The packs would also be available through the existing Global Anthem website, social media and online retailers, and a strong merchandise catalogue of clothing and branded goods would support this. With the support and guidance of York St John's University Enterprise Centre, I have taken the first steps into creating a Global Anthem charity. Global Anthem is working with mentors to secure trademarks on the brand and cards, and this will be part of a long-term partnership. The charity, once funded, would look to employ staff to support its sales, social media, financial and administrative roles, as well as outsourcing legal and accounting. So how can we measure the impact of the Global Anthem project? It is in use now. It was used to support over 400 new arrivals, and it works. This lady is from Afghanistan. She never had the privilege of an education. For 8 months she was trapped in a hotel in isolation due to the language barrier. This is her on the 26th of October. After around 2 hours of work during the session, she air traced the words. Giving her a pen and a post-it note, she wrote for the first time in English, possibly her first taught lesson, by copying off the flashcard. By the 7th of December, after around 10 hours of tuition, she is now teaching the gestures at York St John's to North Yorkshire police officers. Valentina is from Ukraine and arrived here around 6 weeks ago and has no English whatsoever. She comes from the eastern part of the war zone. By the second week of working with my group, she wanted to do selfies. The Ukrainians love doing selfies. I set it up and she chose 3 cards from the pile to hold up. You love me. I looked and I was a little shocked. So I called over one of the Ukrainians with good English and just asked them to check that she understood what cards she held up. You help me. You teach me. You love me. Yes, I understand. This is how I measure impact. I have many more stories. However, the most impactful in support of the project are the people who matter. Displaced people from many countries. Police officers and police community support officers. National and international media. Academics. Volunteers. Students. Support workers. There are people from many nations and faiths with different skin colours, different languages and different equalities, and they matter, their voice matters, and we can act towards one another in the spirit of brotherhood. I need help, 3 words that can change a life. I understand two words that can change the world. This is our global anthem. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.